guys, what's going on? Jebb here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the short-term bounce that we have witnessed on Bitcoin. As you guys know, Bitcoin is currently trading at $61,600, and in just the last 24 hours, it has managed to bounce back up above 60K, and we got some big news for you guys. If Bitcoin manages to stay above $60,000 through the end of this month, this will be the highest monthly close in the history of Bitcoin, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the way that Bitcoin billionaires think. We're going to be doing a ton of technical analysis. I've literally got like 60 or 70 pieces of TA that I need to show you in today's show. We've got a bunch of really interesting news, including the fact that Nayib Bukele, the president of El Salvador, just bought 420 more Bitcoin. Nice. And we have quite a bit more that we need to talk about. It's going to be a great show. I'm really looking forward to it. Strap yourselves in and like the video if you like the video. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, TA Tim. How you doing, Tim?
Hello. I have updated my sign. This is here to stay because it's important to talk about.
The Composite Man.
If you know, you know.
Dun, 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 the Composite Man. We are also joined, as always, by our producer and awesome guy in general, Smay. How you doing, Smay?
Oh, everybody, thank you, Jebb.
The Smay fan.
Guys, I get to shout out 3 special people today, and I'm going to take that honor very seriously, guys. I want to shout out, first and foremost, Matthew Campbell.
Let's go.
Thank you for being a member. Stanley Bukakis. That last name. Thank you so much for being a member. And Mike, the Humble Swede. Thank you guys so much for being members. If you guys are interested, oh, by the way, I'm going to hint you something. Some cool stuff is coming to the membership program here soon, guys. But also, guys, if you're interested in the membership program, the link is in the description. Thank you.
Boom, there you go. Tim, how about that $63,000 prediction coming out of Plan B? It looks like he might be right on the money again. What do you think it's going to be at by the end of the month, my friend?
Well, let's see. My prediction for Friday, which is the 29th, was 64,000, which is, you know, a day and some change before the end of the month. Let's call it 64,000.
I'm feeling pretty good about my prediction. I have the lowest prediction of 63,000. I really don't know.
Man, we're about to eclipse 62. So
I know. You're 64, right?
I'm 64.
Okay, so if it goes above 63,000, I am going to lose the HODL trophy, which I currently have from last week. So we shall see.
But my fear is that what's going to happen is because it needs to be above 63.5 tomorrow at 9:30 for me to win. It's going to be at like 63.4.
Yep.
And then like last week, within 10 minutes, it's going to cross over into my
But hey, it's all about that 9:30 game.
It sucks.
By the way, guys, today's show is brought to you by one of our favorite indicators. In fact, it is my favorite indicator. It's called Lux Algo Premium. And funnily enough, I actually just had lunch with the CEO of Lux Algo yesterday. He gave me a bunch of really cool information. It's a fantastic product. You're going to see us using it today in this show. If you want to sign up for Lux Algo, you absolutely should. We've had thousands of people sign up for it, and they're loving every minute of it. Use coupon code Jebb, J-E-B-B, for 20% off at checkout. But let's go ahead and jump onto my chart. You guys know how this works. We're going to be doing our bullish segment here until about 9:50 or so. Then we're going to jump into an intermission. From there, we'll be diving into our bearish segment. We're going to look at the bearish technicals because there are still a lot of them in play. And then finally, to wrap out the show, we will jump into a discussion around Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, mindset, philosophy, and the like. But let's start here on my screen with just some regular old Bitcoin technical analysis. And as we always like to do, because we're optimists here in this cryptocurrency space, we're going to look at the bullish. The very first thing that I want to show you on the daily chart has been showing up over the last couple of hours. The fact that Bitcoin has seen this large green candlestick from about 58,500 up to where it is right now at 61,600 means that if we close this daily chart candlestick like this, then we're going to be setting something in motion called a bullish engulfing candlestick here on the bottom of the market. And that is actually a very bullish sign. We've seen these show up many times in history, for example, right here, and another example is right here. This is in July the 21st to be specific, and then August the 3rd, the last couple of times that we've seen major examples of those bullish engulfing candlesticks. We also saw one come into play right here on the 13th of September. Very, very, very bullish pattern if we do end up closing like that. Now, another thing to show you guys here is the RSI. If we take a look here at the RSI, you guys can see RSI pushed all the way up to 78 just a couple of days ago on the 20th of October. We managed to pull all the way down to 52 yesterday, but as of today, RSI has been bouncing and rallying all the way up to 59. What is the point here? RSI has had a healthy correction. It has allowed the bulls that were over leveraged, as we talked about in yesterday's show, to get liquidated. It's allowed for the market to reset itself, and we have built a strong foundation here in between $55,000 and $60,000. We never actually broke below 50 on the RSI on the daily chart, and basically what that means is that we have managed to maintain bullish control of this market. We're still in the bullish control zone, which sits between about 50 and 75. If you're in that region, you are confidently in the hands of the bulls. So yes, we're having a correction, but no, it is not the end of this uptrend in any way, shape, or form. Now, another thing I want to show you here has to do with one of my favorite moving averages in cryptocurrency technical analysis. I've been talking about this moving average for years, guys. I literally made a video on it in CT2A like 3 years ago. It is none other than the 20 exponential moving average here on the daily chart. This 20 EMA is crucial because we oftentimes see Bitcoin bounce off of this moving average as support, or in this case as resistance. It is one of the moving averages that we use to determine if Bitcoin is in an uptrend or a downtrend. And as of yesterday, we have currently bounced off of the 20 EMA, and right now we're sitting above it. The 20 EMA currently sits at $59,100. We are currently sitting at $61,700. So at least for the time being, we are currently bouncing off of the 20 daily exponential moving average, and that is a very, very good sign. But moving down here to the 4-hourly chart, I also want to show you something to do with the VPVR. If you look really quickly here at the VPVR, and I can go ahead and get rid of this. I actually turned on the wrong thing. If we look at the VPVR here, which I closed out of, no, let me get that back. This is a great example of me showing you guys how to find this. A lot of people are always wondering, how do you find the VPVR? Well, if you have a paid version of TradingView, you come into your indicators and strategies, you get confused because you don't actually type in VPVR necessarily. You want to come down here to volume profile, turn on visible range. That's how you get the VPVR, and then you'll probably get these big blocks. What I do is I come in here and change this row size to 200 so that I have a little bit more resolution. So I accidentally deleted VPVR, and I just gave you an example of how to get it back up so that you know that. But the point I'm making here is the VPVR has this support level right here at $59,000, and we've managed to bounce off of that level. And we've also managed to get back up above the current point of control, which sits at $61,000. If we manage to hold above 61K, then we are getting above this level of resistance. Now it is support on VPVR. 61K is a very important level of support, and I'm going to go ahead and draw that for you right here. Actually, it's already on my screen. I'm going to switch that to blue so that we notate it as support. Remember, guys, there are also a couple of other levels of support that we discussed in yesterday's video. There is 53,000, there's 55,000, there's 57,500, and then there are, of course, these levels up here. All of these are strong levels of support that we have previously identified. Now, looking here for some other things, I want to show you really quickly that we are repeating what we saw just a little while ago. Let me get this up. Let me grab this really quickly. Hang on one second. I was in the wrong document. Perfect. We are right now building what is known as an inverse head and shoulders pattern. You can see it right there. This inverse head and shoulders pattern actually might end up being the thing that allows us to break back up above all-time high. Remember, we've talked about how there's a head and shoulders pattern forming right here on Bitcoin. But actually, based on the rally that we've seen over the last little while, there is potentially an inverse head and shoulders pattern forming. The head and shoulders pattern that we looked at a couple of days ago has a price target down here at 53,000, but this inverse head and shoulders pattern actually has a price target pretty high. We can do a simple price target on it right here, extrapolate that out, and then we will see that that has a PT of about $70,000. So if Bitcoin does manage to continue this inverse head and shoulders pattern like this, then that could push us all the way up to $70,000, so keep that in mind. Now, there are a couple of other things I want to show you out here on the daily chart that I meant to mention a second ago. One of them has to do with the fact that right now we are forming what's known as a bull flag on the daily chart. Take a look at these two downtrending levels of resistance and support here on Bitcoin. This means that Bitcoin is forming a bull flag. What's a bull flag? Well, in the same way that you have a flag pole and then you have a flag coming across from it in real life on a real flag, you see the same thing happen on a flag on a chart. There is the trading channel right here that represents the flag, and then you have the flag pole, which we can represent like this. You basically use this flagpole and extrapolate from the flag to get a price target, and that gives us a price target up here of 85,000. So based on two formations that we've seen so far, we have between a $70,000 and an $85,000 price target. That is a very good thing indeed. Now, another thing I want to show you here has to do with the volume on the daily chart. We actually did manage to break above our moving average yesterday on volume. We talked about the volume quite a bit on Bitcoin yesterday, and the volume right now has managed to bounce and rally and break above our moving average. That is a good sign because it indicates that we may see increased volume coming in. For 5 days straight, we saw more volume. That's what we want to see. We don't want to see this really low volume that we saw about a week ago. That's not actually that bullish of a thing. Now, looking here at the Bollinger Bands on the daily chart, you can also see that while the Bollinger Bands are constricting, we've managed to get back up above the basis line for the Bollinger Bands, which is the 20 EMA. I actually just closed that again. I keep touching the wrong thing and then deleting it. Let's get the Bollinger Bands back up here. If you take a look at the Bollinger Bands, you can see we are currently bouncing back up above the 20 line, which is that center line. Now, one of the last things I want to show you here on the daily chart is on the MACD. You can see that the MACD is converging bullish on itself and has been ever since this morning. We did see a lot of bearish divergence, but I told you guys 2 days ago that if we do see any kind of bullish momentum at all, then we could see a reversal in the histogram and then be looking for a bullish MACD cross. That would be a very good sign. And by the way, this is one of the highest levels that the MACD has ever been in history. So if you're concerned about Bitcoin, the whole theme of this stream is when in doubt, zoom out. If you're in doubt right now, you need to zoom out and look at that MACD because it's giving us a lot of bullish signals. Now, looking down here to the 4-hour chart, there are a couple more bullish things on the oscillators. Number one, our RSI has broken above the 50 level, meaning that the 4-hourly chart RSI has broken into the bullish control zone. This is the bullish control zone up here between this dash line and this dash line. Basically, when the RSI line is in between these two lines, that indicates to us that the bulls are in power. That indicates that the bulls are in charge, and that's what we want to see. On top of that, you can see as of about 4 hours ago, we did see a bullish MACD cross on the 4-hourly chart. That's a very bullish thing because whenever the MACD crosses on the 4-hourly chart, that generally means that you're going to have a short-term rally, at least for the next day or two. On top of that, if you take a look here at the 4-hourly chart downtrend for the bull flag we were looking at, we're currently testing it as resistance, and if Bitcoin does manage to break through that, then you could expect a rally all the way up to $63,700 in the next 24 hours. For the sake of my prediction and continuing to hold the HODL trophy, I kind of hope that we don't do that. I kind of hope it waits until Saturday, but we shall see what happens. Moving on here down to the 1-hourly chart, there's a couple things I want to show you. The number one thing I want to show you is that we are currently back up above support around $59,000. We did fall below this for a little while yesterday. We thought that we were going to have trouble getting back up above this. We were concerned about a bear flag forming right here with a price target like pretty low. This price target would have been down here at 54K, but we did manage to break bullish out of it, and that's a very good thing. Remember, we broke bearish out of a bull flag up here, and then we just broke bullish out of a bear flag down here. So it's kind of interesting. We actually are very excited that Bitcoin managed to bounce and rally, and I think it makes a lot of sense because we've talked about the fact that the market is very much trying to establish its footing, establish a foundation down here around this $59,000 to $65,000 region. So I'm quite happy about that. One other thing I want to show you is that down here on the histogram, you can see on the 1-hourly chart MACD these histogram levels. Take a look at how high on the 1-hourly chart these histogram bars are. This is actually the highest the histogram bars have been on Bitcoin in recent memory. In fact, other than a couple of times that we got up to this point here on October the 1st and October the 6th, you have to go back a very, very, very long way to see the last time that Bitcoin was actually more bullish and more divergent on its MACD in the bullish direction. You have to go all the way back to the 25th of July. So there's an argument to be made that the MACD right now on the 1-hourly chart for Bitcoin is more bullish than it has been in over 3 months. And that actually makes a lot of sense because we bounced and rallied hard about 6 hours ago, rallying a couple $1,000s in just a couple of hours. So I'm quite bullish on that. I'm pretty excited about that. But really quickly here, let's go ahead and jump into our market cipher TA. I want to look at some things over there, and then we're going to jump into a couple pieces of news. I'm going to run through market cipher really quickly here, guys, because we've got a ton of news stories that we need to cover. Most of them are just headlines that I want you to be aware of. But quickly, let's go ahead and run through all of this. Let me get my notes up here correctly. Perfect. All right, so the very first thing I want to show you is that the market cipher on the daily chart looks like it's trying to set up to be bullish. We have a lot of downtrending momentum here. Notice this momentum wave is moving to the downside. We had a red dot. But at some point in the near future, this is more than likely going to reverse and we're going to see a green dot come in. Hasn't happened yet, but we are probably going to see it happen if Bitcoin manages to stay up here above 61K. Even if it goes up to 62, 63, we could easily be setting up for a bullish momentum wave cross, and that would be very bullish. On top of that, the money flow here on the daily chart for market cipher is relatively flat, but it is positioned to continue moving to the upside, and even though it's flat, it is still pretty high above the baseline, indicating that there's still a lot of money coming into the cryptocurrency space. On top of that, take a look here at the VWAP. That's moving to the upside, and the RSI is relatively angled upwards. Now, if we look at the market cipher DBSI, we can see something interesting. We actually had quite a lot of bearish numbers up here, like this 6 and this 16, indicating a lot of bearish strength. That has now reversed, and we're seeing more neutrality coming out of the daily chart DBSI, which is a good sign indeed. Moving down here to the 4-hourly chart, things are actually looking really bullish down here. We've had a green dot on momentum. VWAP's moving to the upside, broke really hard to the upside. RSIs are moving to the upside. We saw one of them turn green. That's a good sign. That's a bullish signal. And then we also see that the money flow is curving to the upside. The 4-hourly chart right now is getting an insanely strong buy signal coming from Market Cipher, and it actually looks the same thing on the DBSI. We're seeing a lot of big numbers down here on the bottom, even an 18 right here. I believe this goes up to 26, I want to say. You guys can correct me in the comments, but it goes up to a little over 20. 18 is a very high number, indicates a lot of bullish strength right now, a lot more than we've seen recently. We only saw like a 15, 14, 12 over here. Over here recently, we've seen a 14, 17, 18. It looks like we have more bullish strength right now in this rally than we did in this rally that we saw on the 24th, meaning that we could potentially punch higher than we did last time. That would definitely be good. Moving down to the hourly chart, it's a little bit of a different story. There is a lot of bullishness on the DBSI, a lot of these big, powerful numbers, but we could be seeing a reversal relatively soon, especially considering on the hourly chart we have this long upper shadow forming in just the last couple of minutes that I've been talking. Looking here at the Market Cipher B down here on the oscillator, you can see the momentum is sitting up here really, really high, but notice how the light blue and the blue are converging. If these cross, we're going to see a red dot, and that would indicate momentum's coming to the downside. RSI is trending up, which is good, but the VWAP's coming down, and the money flow has stagnated. The money flow was increasing, but it is not increasing anymore, indicating that the bullish strength might be running out, and the bulls might be getting exhausted down here on the 1-hourly chart. On the 1-hourly, basically what we're looking at here with Market Cipher and with the rest of our TA is basically that Bitcoin has the potential to break this red downtrend, but if it doesn't, then it's going to reject, and it's going to reject hard, and we probably see Bitcoin pull back to around $60,000. In general, things are looking pretty bullish. Looks like we've got a great bullish reversal going on the last 6 hours, but time is going to tell if that will maintain. Now, quickly, I want to run through a couple of headlines here. I'm only going to spend about 5 minutes on this, and then we're going to jump into our first intermission, read some super chats, and move on. The very first thing I want to talk about here has to do with India. I'm going to read a synopsis of this I'm going to read directly out of my notes. Earlier in the year, the Indian authorities planned to impose a total ban similar to the one in China and even criminalize the ownership of Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining. This was a massive deal because, as you know, India is the second largest nation in the world by population. It's one of the larger economies in the world. And what they are basically doing is that they're implementing a massive U-turn in this, per the article's descriptor here on Crypto Potato. The Indian government will reportedly implement a regulatory framework for operating with cryptocurrencies by February of next year. Instead of a complete ban, as was talked about more recently, this time the authorities will debate whether to accept Bitcoin and altcoins as an official asset class. That is a massive U-turn for India. This is not a story that we've been covering a lot here on the channel, the whole Indian controversy around cryptocurrencies, but the fact that India is warming up to cryptocurrency could be massive, especially considering the fact that India's government is trying to move in a more digital direction. There is a potential that we could see them work with a CBDC in the future, which I wouldn't be thrilled about, but it could usher in more cryptocurrency adoption. India turning in the direction of being pro-Bitcoin could end up being a massively bullish thing for crypto, especially considering India and China have a long-standing feud. If China believes one way about crypto and you know how they believe, India very well may believe the other way just for the sake of, combating China and then getting any kind of advantage over their neighbor that they can get. Now, another headline I want to show you here is pretty interesting. El Salvador buys a smoking hot 420 more Bitcoin. I don't know what that's referencing. I wonder why it says smoking hot. I don't get it. I don't know. But either way, Nayib Bukele is an absolute mad lad over on Twitter. This dude is the president of a nation. And this is like the Elon Musk of Central America is basically what he is. He says, ha 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 ha, we're already making profit of the Bitcoin we just bought. How do we take profit if 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin? Cheeky. I love that. We have a trust fund accounted in US dollars, but the trust fund is funded by both US dollars and Bitcoin. And as you can see right here, El Salvador just purchased 420 Bitcoin. A Reddit user said, nice, blaze it. I love it. That is just absolutely hilarious. That is really, really funny. Another headline here to read you. Wharton is going to accept cryptocurrency as tuition payment for blockchain class. Kind of, you got the whole point just from the just from the headline here. Wharton Business School, one of the, if not the most prestigious business school on the planet. could be accepting cryptocurrency relatively soon for tuition. That's pretty cool. Looking here onto Kelly Kellum's Twitter, he's got a really interesting post here, a retweet from Gert Van Lagen. He said this market right now on Bitcoin actually looks very similar to a classic pattern that you guys have looked at quite a bit and that we've covered for years on the channel, which is called the bump and run formation. If you guys would like to see a dedicated video on this concept, I would love to make an entirely dedicated video on this concept. Basically what this is saying is that in the last 6 to 12 months, Bitcoin has formed something called a bump and run formation, which if I go to a clean chart here and show you, it is basically, I'll go ahead and delete all of this TA. Basically what it is this downtrend right here bounced, and the fact that we did this number right here is a bump and run formation. It's a really old pattern. People have been looking for this pattern for over a century in markets, and it almost always leads to a massive rally. So the fact that this is happening on Bitcoin, huge deal, definitely leads to some parabolic movement. And he's also got a couple of things over here. Make sure to go follow Kelly Kellum on Twitter, by the way, if you haven't already. You're missing out. He's about to hit 2,500 followers. I want to get him to 5,000 as soon as possible. Over here, he's talking about how the Bitcoin balances on exchange is hitting a major low right now. And also, if we look at the Bitcoin volatility index, we're seeing volatility come back in a pretty big way, and that basically means that people are getting very excited about cryptocurrency. There's a lot of trading going on, a lot of retail coming back into the space. So here's my point in this bullish segment, and then we're going to read some super chats. Right now, there are bearish things in crypto. Right now, there are reasons to be concerned. There are always going to be reasons to be concerned for the short-term price. But here's what Bitcoin billionaires do. This is what the people that make their billions in cryptocurrency do. You know what they do? They look at those bearish things and they say, okay, but what's the time frame? Is this something that affects the next 3 days, or is this something that is going to have an existential impact on cryptocurrency for the next decade? And they weigh that. If you're in crypto for the next 10 years, like I am, 10, 20, 30 years, then you have to look at what's going to affect the next 10, 20 years. Don't get freaked out because of something that's going to happen and affect the next 3 days when you're worried about what's going to happen in the next 30 years. The Bitcoin billionaires of the world became billionaires because they were able to look at the long-term perspective, long-term outlook, and then make decisions based off of that. Is Bitcoin bearish right now? There's a little bit of bearishness, and we're going to talk about it in a second. Should you be concerned about it if you're a major investor? Heck no. And if you're a trader, you shouldn't be worried either because it's a great time for you to make some gains. With that said, let's go ahead and read some super chats. Let's go ahead and interact with the chat a little bit. If you guys are enjoying today's stream, make sure to hit that like button if you like the video and subscribe if you want more content. We're going to be hitting 200K subs next week, it looks like. I'm looking forward to that.
Well, we got a light segment here, and I think I'm going to be able to read some questions in chat, some comments in chat.
Awesome.
But we have a new member that we need to call out, Ricardo Venegas. I don't know if that's correct or not. If you guys are new to the show, welcome to the segment where Tim butchers everyone's name. But he just became, I'm assuming Ricardo is a he, just became a Jebbi Knight. So welcome to the team. Hopefully you can correct me on that pronunciation. We also just had a super chat. Just Richard Cooper wanted to donate.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you so much. We just had one come in that was added from, okay, is this Rami? I'm thinking it's Rami Daniel. And he said, have you guys heard of Cake Monster? Amazing project with huge potential. God bless. Glad your channel's
I have not, but you're making me want some cake, Rami. I kind of want some cake now.
We were actually the other day in the office joking about the different random names of some of these coins.
There are some pretty funny names.
There are some funny ones.
Did you guys know there's a women coin? There's a women coin.
Yeah.
It's a coin.
It's you definitely have your options in the market. But something I saw earlier in chat that I think we should reference. Jebb, what are your thoughts about Shiba Inu after yesterday? Because you made a TA prediction on it. What are your thoughts about what's happening right there right now?
Well, let me look at it. I don't know what's going on with it. It's probably rallied more, hasn't it? I bet you that's what it's done.
It has.
Okay, so here's the deal, guys. Everybody likes to get upset whenever somebody says this is a bad idea to invest in. Here's the deal. Take a look at my screen really quickly. What happened to SHIB? It dropped 36% in 3 hours. That right there is one of the reasons I was telling you to be careful about it. Yes, it rallied 8,900, and it pulled back down to 56.59. A lot of people look at SHIB and they're like, "Can I go to $1?" No, it can't go to $1. You know how much money it would take for SHIB to go to $1? It would literally be more valuable than the global real estate market. Do you think that's possible? It's not. It is completely and utterly impossible. SHIB has already had a massive rally. The dog coins of the world, the Shiba Inus and the Dogecoins and other kind of projects like that, like SafeMoon, are going to they're like playing the lottery. Yes, you can win $1 million and retire on it, but the problem is the people that win the lottery and win $1 million, oftentimes the people that are playing the lottery don't have a lot of financial education, so when they win $1 million, they don't know what to do with it, and then they get screwed over because they got all this money, and then they run into debt, and a lot of people end up more broke than they were before because they got all this money. And the problem with making $1 million off of Shiba Inu is that if you made $1 million off of SHIB, you got lucky. You didn't do it because you learned technical analysis, and you got lucky, and that's going to build your confidence, and then that confidence can easily turn into arrogance, and it can cause you to get wrecked in a leverage trade. So you have to be careful with that. If you made money on SHIB, count your blessings. Don't try and repeat it because there's no formula to getting lucky other than being in the right place at the right time. It's a project that's made a lot of people a lot of money, but there's a lot of things that have made a lot of people a lot of money. It doesn't mean it's a good idea to invest in.
I got a shout out in chat from Robert Casanova. I hope I said your name right there, Casanova. He said, T.A. Tim, learn how to pronounce names. Where does one go to learn how to pronounce names? I took classes when I was younger.
It's called an English class, Tim. I'm sorry,
but some of these names are not English names.
It's called English.
And they do not adhere to the rules of the English language, and that's okay. It's gonna make me mess them up. And this is going right into yesterday. We had a super chat from Caio Magno, who then said in this super chat, I challenged him to pronounce my full name. So here we go. I skimmed it, but this is going to be what you get, and I'm going to do it as best I can, but I'm following the English language rules. Caio Magno Patillo, Patillo, I know that when you have two L's, that usually is a y. So Patillo de Castro Stadile.
Tim, I'm gonna post
Stadile.
Tim, I'm gonna post a name in the chat. Can you try and pronounce it real quick, and I'll tell you how to pronounce it?
Okay.
It's in the chat.
Are you gonna do the long whatever?
No. It starts with R. It's
what
R,
the heck?
How do you pronounce that?
Hold on, I'm missing it. Rheinmetall Borsig Waffenträger Tim. And then you said try to pronounce this. I don't know. Is that even close?
That was actually really close.
Come on.
It's Rheinmetall Borsig Waffenträger. It's a German tank that was used in World War II.
Kelly Kellum just said hooked on phonics plus cultural awareness and traveling.
Pulling a hooked on phonics.
We do have some other super chats that came in. Gatidius Telecom said, hey, Cook Protocol, any thoughts? BitBoy has more than 1 million in his portfolio. Wow.
He does.
Do you have any thoughts about
do I have any thoughts on what exactly?
Cook Protocol?
Oh, Cook Protocol? I have not.
I have no idea.
I have no thoughts on that. I am sorry, my friend.
We did have another one just come in from Raul Quesada. Shiba still hasn't been on Robinhood. They're more dollars.
Good. It's almost like Robinhood for once actually is doing what's good for the investor. What? I didn't say that. Guys, if you're enjoying today's stream, hit that like button. We got almost 4,000 people watching and 700 likes. Come on. Come on. Just for the sake of, if you're enjoying today's stream, you can give us a like. It helps out quite a bit. Thank you very much. And by the way, here's a reason why you ought to subscribe to the channel, because on Saturday, I have an interview with both of the Altcoin Daily brothers going up, Austin and Aaron. So make sure you subscribe and hit the post notification bell so you'll be updated when that goes out. Really interesting. I learned a lot about how they got into cryptocurrency, how the channel started, and you guys, I think, will really enjoy it. With that said, let's jump back onto my screen. And no, we're not doing a bunch of TA on SHIB. We're going to start with our bearish segment here on Bitcoin. And unfortunately for you guys, there is actually quite a lot of bearish technicals right now. I don't want you to get concerned about it, but as always, it is our mission here to bring you both sides of the narrative so that you're not just getting one side. We don't want to be biased. We want to be as unbiased as possible and give you information so that you can go and make informed trades and decisions. The very first thing I want to show you here on the daily chart is this. There have been 3 major highs that have been in play over the last 10 days. Each and every one of them is a lower high. We see one lower high, a second lower high, and then a third one right here. And then we also see a lower low and a lower low. Again, that basically means that we're in a short-term corrective movement to the downside. Not a very good sign for the bulls, but these downtrends do end at some point. And I do want to remind you that we are in a bull flag right now with a price target of like $85,000. And Bitcoin also is bearish, but not very bearish. In fact, we're still sitting in the bullish control zone on most of the RSIs. Not something to be worried about, but you do need to know that because it is an argument that the bears will use to push it further down. Now, another thing to show you here, guys, is this blue line right here. You can see it right there. I'm just kind of moving it around so you can see which one I am talking about here. This blue line, this resistance level on Bitcoin has been in play for a very long time, ever since at least the 25th of May. Going back even farther than that, you can find more information on that trend line because theoretically, You can even say it was in play back here on the 25th of January. But the point here is that Bitcoin, as of this morning, was struggling to get back up above this level. Right now, it is basically above it. But the point here is Bitcoin's still kind of caught in that spider web of resistance. You know, it's kind of sticky. Bitcoin's trying to get through it, but it hasn't fully gotten through it yet. We've got all these levels up here that Bitcoin has to punch through, and it's getting harder as the days go on. So we're trying to get above that, but it hasn't necessarily fully cleared it just yet. Now, the next thing to show you is that this candlestick right here has not managed to get up to this candlestick right here. This is very similar to the point I made earlier where Bitcoin is having lower highs, but the point I want to make here is that the big resistance that Bitcoin needs to break to move to the upside and indicate that we are forming this inverse head and shoulders pattern like this, it needs to break above $63,600. It doing that would be remarkably bullish, but it to this date has not happened. Looking down to the 4-hourly chart, there is a lower low that's forming on the RSI. Take a look here at this. We pushed all the way down to about 32 on RSI. Back on the 24th on our previous bottom, we only pushed down to 35. That indicates the bears are actually still pretty in charge here. And same thing as the price action, we're seeing lower highs on the RSI, indicating that the bullish strength is waning. We know that because the RSI stands for the relative strength index. The whole point of the RSI is to figure out what is the strength, the relative strength of the bulls and the bears. As these bulls are losing momentum, the RSI pushes to the downside. That's how we know the bulls are losing strength. Looking here at the MACD as well, we did have a bullish cross. But I do want you to realize this is actually one of the lowest levels that MACD has been at in a very long time. It's sitting down here at negative 575 pips or so down here on the MACD oscillator. It's very, very low. That is a bearish sign, but it does mean that we could have a lot of bullish momentum to the upside here, because the further you get away from the zero level, the more like magnetism it gets. Like, think about the zero level on the histogram like a rubber band where there's no tension on it, and the further and further and further out you get from that center level where the rubber band has no tension, the more tension there is, and then eventually it snaps back into place, and that's kind of what we're seeing happen right now on MACD. We're really far below the zero level, so eventually that kind of spring action is going to push us back to the upside. You can think about a lot of the oscillators using a rubber band analogy or like a spring analogy, something like that. Very, very helpful. Now, another thing to show you here on the 4-hourly chart are the Bollinger Bands. We are currently pushing back up above them, and as of an hour ago, we were testing the center line and rejecting from it. Right now, we have managed to break above it, which is a good sign, but remember, we did the same thing back over here, and we rejected off of the top band. So keep an eye on this top band. If we reject off of here, then that could push us all the way down into the high 50s. We don't want that to happen, but it is very much in the cards. Looking down here to the 1-hourly chart, we can also see that RSI managed to rally all the way up to 73. That is a good thing because it means that the bulls are seeing a lot of strength show up on the hourly chart. But again, it is still a lower high following a lower high on the hourly chart. And we probably will be seeing a rejection on the RSI relatively soon, because considering the amount of bearishness in the market right now, sitting at 73 is a relatively unstable position for the bulls to be, and is probably not going to manage to last too much longer. Now, with that said, I want to move out to literally my favorite technical indicator, which is the sponsor of today's show, and that we've been using every single day for a very long time. It's called Lux Algo. You guys already know that name, and we're going to be talking about it here just for a little bit. I want to do a full technical analysis rundown of the entire market using Lux Algo and show you guys just how powerful this one indicator alone is. The very first thing I want to show you is on the daily chart, with all the different components of Lux Algo. The very first thing I want to show you is that we are still under a sell signal despite the rally that we saw earlier today. This sell signal is only the third sell signal that we have seen in the last like 6 months. There was a strong sell signal over here on the 12th of May, then there was a strong sell signal over here on the 19th of September, but generally speaking, there are not very many sell signals that come into this market. It's actually relatively rare for a sell signal to show up on the daily chart, and the fact that we have a sell signal is very important. Now, I also want to talk about this candlestick coloring because this is really interesting. Tim Shannon, our chief marketing officer, and I actually sat down with the CEO of Lux Algo yesterday, and I asked him, what is your favorite part of the entire Lux Algo package? And he told me the candlestick coloring. The candlestick color right here is very, very significant. This purple color basically means that we are in this kind of indecision phase. It means that we are under a sell signal, but it means that we could very quickly come out of that sell signal. You see this purple come into play whenever a strong sell signal is switching, and it looks like we're about to go green. This red color is strong sell, this green color is strong buy, and then this purple signal is like somewhere in the middle. This candlestick coloring has a lot of really fancy mathematics behind it, and it is pretty cool. If this stays purple, then that could indicate that we're not far away from a buy signal, and that would be one of the things that could catapult us up towards all-time high and beyond. I definitely want to see that coming into play. Now, another thing to show you here is this line called the trend catcher. The trend catcher is a very cool part of Lux Algo because it actually precedes the buy signal and sell signal quite a bit. You can see the trend catcher right here called this top just perfectly, and then it actually called this uptrend a day before the buy and sell signal came in. A lot of people think Lux Algo is just about buy and sell signals. It's not. There's a lot more to it than that. The trend catcher is pretty interesting. Now, another thing to show you here are the reversal zones, which are really interesting. These reversal zones up here give you an idea of the kind of region that Bitcoin is safe to be trading in. And right now, we're still pretty close to the upper range of the reversal zones, indicating that, yeah, we're having a correction, but we actually are still really close to the buy area. We've seen a correction, but it's not actually that deep of a correction. Not something that we should be scared of, in my opinion. Now, looking down here to the Lux Oscillator, which is another part of this pack, you can see that there was a red dot a little bit recently. That does indicate that we're under strong sell pressure, and that lines up with this. One of the cool things about Lux is that you have the sell signal, you have the red dots and green dots that show up on the Lux Oscillator, you have the trend catcher. One of these is going to give you a signal very, very, very early in a movement. Sometimes it's going to be the sell signal, sometimes it's going to be the trend catcher, sometimes it's going to be a dot down here in Lux Oscillator, but in general, whenever a downtrend or an uptrend starts, you're going to get a signal somewhere telling you about it, so make sure you're using all of the indicators because there's a lot here. Now, one of the final things on the daily chart to show you is the fact that the EQ cloud is continuing to expand here. That does indicate bullishness. Whenever the EQ cloud is this color, that signals bullish, but whenever it is this color, that signals bearish. So you can see we've been under a bullish cross on the EQ cloud ever since the 10th of August. Very good sign. Definitely something that we like to see. Now, moving down here to the 4-hourly chart, let's take a look at this. We are seeing right now a buy signal printing on the 4-hourly. We saw this a little while ago. It happened when we had this big rally, but keep in mind, guys, it is not a green rally. This is not a strong buy signal like we saw back over here. Remember how those candlestick coloring how that candlestick coloring is so important. We saw a buy signal, but it's purple. That means it's a weak buy signal. It is a buy signal, but it's a weak buy signal. The good news is it is a buy signal, and that's what we want to see. Now, the next thing to show you is that the trend catcher is still red. You can see it came in the candlestick after the strong sell signal in this case, turned red, but if this turns green, then that could very quickly turn into a very important indicator that we're going to move to the upside. Now, another thing here, we did see the EQ cloud cross in the bearish direction, and we're currently using it as resistance. This EQ cloud over the next little while is going to be very important because if Bitcoin wants to break and start going to the upside big time, it's going to need to get above the critical level at around 62,300 here from Lux Algo. And if we don't manage to do that, we're going to have trouble and we're going to push to the downside. Definitely be looking for this cloud to give us some support and resistance. In this case, it's giving us resistance. We want to bounce through it. You can see in past here how important this cloud is for Bitcoin's trajectory. So definitely keep an eye out on that. Now, another thing to show you here on the Lux Oscillator, the Lux Oscillator has been constricting very rapidly, like really rapidly, and when we see that, that's generally a bullish sign, so definitely keep your eyes on that. And then finally, I want to move on down to the, actually, I take that back. There's one thing I want to show you still here on the 4-hourly chart, that we got really close to the reversal zone down here. Remember, guys, I told you yesterday $53,000, $55,000, $57,000, and those levels line up just perfectly with the EQ cloud right in here. If you turn on the EQ cloud and look, then those line up great. We're sitting down here closer towards the reversal zone bullish, which means 4-hourly chart, we're getting a little overextended in the bearish direction, or that we did about 12 hours ago, and that we want to see a bounce. Now, moving quickly down here to the hourly chart, and then we're going to move into our intermission. We can see that, if I remember correctly, there is a buy signal on the hourly chart. Yes, there is. There was a buy signal right here. That is a very good sign. And good news also on the 1-hourly is that we're currently trying to breach through this bearish EQ cloud. Notice we saw this cross happen over here at 2 o'clock in the morning on the 27th. We're breaching through it. If we do manage to do that, then the EQ cloud could very quickly reverse, go bullish with a cross like this, and then we can start using this as support. So if Bitcoin does manage to get up here towards 62,000, 63,000, then that is going to be a good sign there. We can also see that the trend catcher right here did catch this trend a couple of hours before the buy signal. Remember what I said, guys, either the Lux Oscillator, the trend catcher, or the buy and sell signal is going to call the market really early. One of them is going to catch it. In this case, all three of them caught it. Trend catcher caught the bullish movement. We saw this green dot come in down here. This caught the bullish movement, and frankly, this is forming a strategy that I'm using on Lux Algo, which is look at these three things. If one of them flashes a buy signal, then pay close attention because normally it means something big. Right now, all three of them have, which definitely indicates a strong uptrend down here on the hourly chart. Don't want to be missing out on that. Let me go ahead and close that out. And then another thing to show you here, guys, is that we did come down here and punch into this bullish reversal zone, and that is a good sign. That support zone gave us a lot of support. We even saw a red X right here, which was a take profit, and then another one that is definitely very good. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to mention here on the hourly chart. Looks like I covered everything. You remember earlier to this stream when I said I have like 80 pieces of technical analysis I want to show you? I wasn't kidding. The final thing to show you here is that the Lux Oscillator has broken above the 0 level, and that we are sitting pretty up here around 73. Okay, so before we start our intermission, we read some more super chats because I know we got a bunch of them to cover. First of all, if you're enjoying today's video, like the video. We very much appreciate your support. Second of all, what's the takeaway from all this? Because I understand that the way we run this show, we kind of just throw like almost 100 pieces of technical analysis at you. I don't want you to be overwhelmed. Basically, when we do that, we're trying to give you evidence for why we believe what we do. Here's what we believe, and we're going to talk about this more here in a little bit. I think that Bitcoin right now is on the hourly chart and 4-hourly chart under a stronger rally right now than the one that we saw here on the 24th of October. I think right now Bitcoin has the potential to punch its way up to 63,000, 64K, and if it does manage to get above 64K, then we're probably going to be going to all-time high in a week or two. But if Bitcoin doesn't manage to punch through 63 to 64K, and some of these bearish technicals that we've looked at come to pass, then our support level all the way down at 53,000 looks like it is very much in the cards. There are bullish technicals and there are bearish technicals as always, but what do I believe? Based on the last 24 hours, I am hopeful that Bitcoin is going to hit 63 to 64, but I'll believe it when I see it. At the moment, we need to remember that the trend is our friend until it ends, even though we have some uptrending momentum happening down here on the hourly chart, happening down here on the 4-hourly chart, even though Market Cypher and Lux Algo and much of our TA is pretty bullish actually and calling for a longer-term bullish uptrend, we still have not seen confirmation of that. That's kind of the key here. We have not seen confirmation. So what's the point? Number one, we want to see bullishness. We're waiting on a confirmation. It'll probably be coming in the next couple of days. And number two, if you are scared of this cryptocurrency market right now, do what Bitcoin billionaires do. Zoom out and realize, take a look at my chart, that Bitcoin is under a massive uptrend, and literally just 1 year ago today, Bitcoin was trading at the measly price of $12,700. If you're worried about Bitcoin, you have no reason to be. If you're an investor in Bitcoin, you have every reason to be excited. With that said, let's go ahead and read some super chats.
Yeah, we got a lot more this round. So we got one from Shadrock Frost, who's now been a member for 2 months as a Jebb youngling. Said, what a great way to spend my morning tuning into the Crypto Jebb and his awesome crew. Aww. Blessings to you all, and thank you for all you do for us. Thank you so much, Shadrach.
Thank you very much, Shadrach. Mr. Frost.
Eye of the Beholder said, not financial advice, but if you're going to invest in a doggy project, only put it in what you're really okay with losing. Don't ape in.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Guys, if you want, look, I have no problem with putting a moon bag in some of these dog coins or Safe Moon or something. If you want to put, let's say you've got $10,000 in your total portfolio. If you want to put $100 into a dog coin just because you're like, hey, it could 1,000x, by all means, like, go for it. I mean, first of all, it's your portfolio. It's not my, you don't need my permission, but there's nothing wrong with having a moon bag thinking, hey, this cryptocurrency could 1,000% increase a year from now. There's nothing wrong at all with having a moon bag, guys. Just don't put more money than you're willing to lose in that moon bag, because you are quite literally gambling. You are quite literally playing the lottery. If you are the kind of person that is predisposed to gambling or predisposed to playing the lottery or something like that, then you need to be very careful in cryptocurrency because you can make a lot of mistakes. That's all I have to say on that.
Gotcha. Looking at something real quick while I get over to these other ones. We have one from Sean Conroy.
Sean Conroy. That's a dope name.
Should I just start reading names like the whole bit from Key and Peele? CN Conroy.
Sure, yeah, do it. I love it.
Just to make sure if I can't get everyone's name right, I'll get everyone's name wrong. That's a consistency.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No one can complain if you get every name wrong. You know?
What's your thoughts on IOTA and XLM?
IOTA is a dead project, and XLM is a knockoff of XRP. That's my opinion.
Buzzle Hello said thoughts on... Oh, my gosh.
What did he do?
You can't hear, the track.
Did he run the crickets?
He did like a weird cry one.
Oh gosh.
Buzzle Hello said thoughts on Ichimoku strategy, Ichimoku strategy and TPO trading.
I'm not familiar with what he means by TPO trading. I've used Ichimoku Cloud plenty of times. I'm personally not the biggest fan of it. I actually find that Ichimoku Cloud, that a lot of what Ichimoku does, Lux Algo actually does quite a bit better. I don't know. I've used Ichimoku at many different points in my trading career. I'm not knocking it. There are people that have a lot of success with it. It just kind of isn't my cup of tea. So that's my take.
Let's see here. Coming down, we got one from Mojo Hand saying Jebb gets a free coffee just for the salty Robin Hood comment.
I'll take it.
I'm a big fan there. Spencer Nichols said, "You guys are awesome. Thank you all."
You're awesome, Spencer.
Rick4962 first just gave $5 just to give.
Let's go, Rick.
The next one, well, he gave $20. I think he was asking about.
He said, "What about Elon coin?"
Yeah, what about Elon coin? I saw a comment. Someone said that.
Oh my goodness.
That's might have been a waste of $20.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Elon coin?
Look, like I said, there's nothing wrong with a moon bag, and any cryptocurrency that has the name Elon in it, I hate to say this, but I could see it like moonshotting. Let me look at it really quickly because I've never looked at it. Elonium coin. Oh my gosh, this is cringe. Let me look at this really quickly on CoinMarketCap and see if it's already moonshot. Because if it hasn't, like I said, nothing wrong with having a moon bag with like 0.01% of your portfolio. Just realize that your moon bag could very easily also just go down into the pit of the earth and you'll never see it again. TradingView isn't loading for me, but if Elon coin hasn't had a Shiba Inu Dogecoin style pump, there is a potential it could do it just because Elon Musk's name is a meme. It's got great branding, so it's possible. I mean, just don't overinvest in it because, like I said, you were literally playing lottery.
Yeah. Last one we have here from T. Shroom in the room said, "Happy # National First Responders Day."
Oh,
I didn't know that was today. Awesome.
That's awesome.
Happy
# National First Responders Day. Taylor is in the room right behind Smack.
He is on the floor.
Mr. T. Shroom. He's a cool guy. All right, we got one more, actually, before we move in. Dulce Davis said, "Assuming financial reset is real and crypto and the stock market crashes to nothing, what is your opinion on the safety of our crypto / money is safe?" Well, if the stock market and the crypto market crashes to nothing, you probably have bigger things to concern yourself with than your portfolio, like food and water and shelter. But your cryptocurrency is going to be totally fine. It might lose a lot of value, but it's not going to go anywhere. So, I wouldn't worry about that, to be honest with you. It's like if you live your whole life thinking about, oh, what if the world ends? Well, first of all, you can't do anything about that, and second of all, your life is going to suck. So I wouldn't worry about that. Definitely make sure you're informed, but I wouldn't get too deep in that. Now, Tim, I want to talk a little bit about the cryptocurrency markets here. Considering that we are in a short-term correction, but we're in a very long-term rally. I know you've seen this happen many times in the cryptocurrency space. What is your biggest takeaway for traders and investors that are newer to the cryptocurrency space? Should they be concerned? How should they look at this market?
Well, this isn't going to be profound, and it's not going to be the first time it's ever been said. But pause, zoom out, and then look at things. A 10% correction looks a lot worse when you're looking on the hourly chart versus when you zoom out to the daily and then weekly and then monthly chart. And you're going to see there's not a single massive bull run that doesn't come with some little corrections along the way. So before people just freak out and say like, oh no, like right now we're moving down, we see, as Jebb talked about in TA notes, we see lower lows and we see lower highs, which is a correction, which is a downward movement. It means the bears are out fighting the bulls. Pause. Oh wait, I'm looking at the hourly chart. Let me look back at the daily and then the weekly chart. Oh, look at that. We're right on track for a nice bull run. Never mind. I'm not freaking out. That's what I would say. Yeah,
for real. No, I think it's just so important that people use these opportunities to learn because people don't realize the enemy of the trader is not downwards movement. The enemy of the trader is actually boring movement where it's trading sideways. You can make money in a downtrend just as easily as you can make money in an uptrend. What we need to do as traders and investors is we need to be looking for momentum. And if there's not momentum, like for example, I'll show you on Bitcoin's chart, historically speaking here, I remember back in August, primarily September and October of 2018 when we were running this channel, Bitcoin was ranging in a 8% range for 60 days. And I was running a daily uploading cryptocurrency technical analysis, price action commentary channel. I don't have any freaking clue what I talked about for those 2 months. The videos are all up on the channel. You can go back and look for any video between September and the end of October 2018. God only knows what I was talking about because there was nothing to talk about. That was boring. This right here is the enemy of a trader because there's no price action and it's a little bit harder, in my opinion, to do technical analysis in a ranging market than it is in a trending market. Right now, we are in a trending market. We're in a downtrending market. That is a good thing for traders. So if you are concerned about the downwards movement here, pause. Like Tim said, when in doubt, zoom out.
Yeah.
As Kelly has been saying and quoting someone, don't trip. I forgot the rest of it. Don't trip by the dip. That's it. Don't trip by the dip. Well, Tim, I got another question for you.
Yeah.
I remember when I got into cryptocurrency, everybody was talking about $10,000. And I was like, oh my gosh, $10,000 on Bitcoin. That's insane, because Bitcoin was at $2,900 when I got in. I'm like, man, $10,000, 6 figures. That would be freaking nuts. When you got into the space, Bitcoin's around $11,000.
Yeah.
Did you have a similar response to the idea of $100,000 Bitcoin? What was your reaction to the idea of 100K Bitcoin?
Not any surprise whatsoever, actually. Obviously, Jebb, you were the one that got me into Bitcoin.
Yep.
And while I had a lot of learning to do to back up that synopsis, one of my thoughts when I got in, when I put $5,000, and at that point, $5,000 was not just a lot of money, it was pretty much all of my savings. It was because, forget 100,000, Bitcoin within the next couple of years, be it 5 to 10, is going to be sitting closer to $1 million, maybe even sitting maybe 10 million. I think the first week I was in, I read an article talking about comparing Bitcoin to gold.
Yep.
And how Bitcoin actually is on track to outperform gold. But even if it stayed at what gold was, even if it just stayed the same, it would end up finishing somewhere around was it 5 million or something like that?
Yeah, it'd be huge. I don't think it'd be that high, but it'd be.
It was over 1 million for sure.
Yeah.
But it was saying no, but it's on pace to way outperform gold,
yeah,
which would put it closer to maybe even 10 million. So it really wasn't that challenging for me. Now, I will say, as every noob has, there were that moments, because I bought it at 11,000. I think the next 2 days it went down to 9,000 or something. It was like, oh no, I don't think I made a mistake. I was just like, oh, should I have waited for 2 days? And that I talked about this yesterday. For those of you who were watching, if you didn't, you guys can watch. One of the common mistakes of new people is saying, oh no, I didn't buy the dip, I'm a moron. No. You didn't, just because you didn't hit the lowest point or you didn't sell at the very top, doesn't make you bad. The experts do not hit the bottoms perfectly and do not hit the tops perfectly.
And by the way, they don't try because it's dangerous. Tim, do you remember? A side question? Do you remember when you were training me at Muscle Farm and that was a big shout out. And
Kyle, if you're watching.
Yeah, if Kyle's watching. And I was talking to you about why Bitcoin's so important. I was talking about hyperinflation and all that. Do you remember that conversation?
Yeah.
Do you remember that? What was your reaction? Because you were kind of like. Whoa.
Well, okay, so I know you had I was looking at the thing. You have another question similar to this. Here is, if I could sum up who I was as a person, and I think that a lot of people in chat are going to kind of relate with this. I was under no delusion that fiat currency and money and the economy and the way the world works financially was screwed up, right?
Yep.
The problem is when you do not have a solution, you got to kind of have this concept of all right, well, it's messed up, but I can't affect it. I can't do anything. So, okay, when you kept talking about all the inflation stuff, I'm like, okay, I know all this stuff. What made crypto and specifically Bitcoin interesting is it was the first time I heard a solution to the problem with inflation and the problems that our world was economically facing. When there's no solution to a problem, why would you waste your time and your fear and your worry about, because if you can't control or factor into something, you're just wasting your time to worry.
That's true.
When there's a solution, that's when you get involved. So for me, every conversation we had in that gym, I remember just staying over you. You're benching, and I'm just spotting you, and you're talking about all this stuff. I was like,
that was back when I was benching the bar and struggling.
Finally, there's a solution to the problem that I've been seeing for years. So now I'm going to actually, that's what got me to actually start paying attention to, even I'm not saying I follow the stock market avidly, but I'm now watching what's happening there. I'm watching what's happening in financial worlds. I'm paying attention to news stories that talk about finances and economy. And I never had a reason to before, because I was like, it's hopeless, it's stupid, it's dumb. And now there actually is a hope to fix the problem.
This is completely off topic, but this is a funny factoid for all of you guys. The reason I started working out with you, Tim, was because I had just gotten dumped. And I was like, man, I want to get strong.
I think I remember telling you that.
Do you remember me telling you that?
I think you told me that.
I was like, man, I want to get strong. And Tim, who's my microchurch leader, is also I remember texting you. I'm like, hey, Tim, you're a personal trainer, right?
Yep.
I'm glad now. I love fitness. I was deadlifting yesterday. I freaking love going to the gym. I think I told you guys, I was benching on Monday, and I got recognized at the gym by a guy named Max. Shout out to Max if you're watching. Well, Tim, I got a couple more questions here for you, and then we want to read some super chats before we wrap it out. What big cap altcoin do you think has the most solid use case?
Use case?
Mm-hmm.
Cardano. Like
really?
Well, I'm assuming when you're saying use cases, what is going to be actually done with what's happening on the platform.
Sure. Well, let's ask the question in two different ways. What has the biggest use case now, and what do you think will have the biggest use case in 5 years?
I mean, it's hard to argue with also Ethereum. Ethereum's going to be great.
I was going
to
say, I'm surprised you didn't say Ethereum.
But the reason with Cardano is it's still going to be a great place for for value in terms of if you just want to trade it and hold it as some form of a asset. But I'm talking about what the project actually does, which is one of the reasons why I am such a big ADA and Charles Hoskinson fan, and why they align so much with even what our heartbeat is hey guys, yes, let's fix finances, let's get people out of debt and out of poverty. But Cardano's taking a step further and not just having it be a financial thing. They're actually using technology and building things that will help those who never had a chance. I don't see another project being as aggressive at helping humanity and helping people as Cardano. And guess what? There's something about those efforts, those people, when your mindset is selfless and purposeful to help those who cannot help themselves, things surround you. I believe that it's almost like a biblical practice. The way God made our universe is that when you stop focusing on yourself and you focus on others, the blessings come.
Amen.
So
to that.
watch Cardano, who Charles Hodgson could care less about the price. Cardano is sitting right now at 201. He is no less proud of Cardano when it was sitting at $3. He is just as proud of his project because of what his project does. It's when people have that thought that good things follow, even in the price. So both price-wise and purpose-wise, I love what Cardano's doing.
Yeah, cool. Well, let's see what else. Here's another question that I have for you, Tim. But before that, I will go ahead and tell you what I think. I think personally, it's Dogecoin. No, I'm kidding. I am absolutely joking. Please don't get mad at me. I'm joking. It's a joke. No, but for real, the one that I think has the biggest use case right now, it's obviously Ethereum, but 5 years from now, I think you're probably right. Cardano or maybe even Polkadot. I'm not even gonna lie. Polkadot, and frankly, if XRP does what it says it's going to do and what Ripple says it's going to do, it could be one of the biggest
By the way,
use cases.
my comment wasn't to say no other project would do well.
No, absolutely.
I think XRP will do well. I think Polkadot will do well. I think Ethereum will do well. It's just which would we say is the best?
Yeah. Well, let me ask you one final question, and this is a really cool one. By the way, a lot of these questions are provided by one of our new staff members, T-Shroom, who's sitting over there behind Smate. So shout out to Taylor. What keeps you coming back to crypto every single week?
Okay, so I think that I answered the question early when I was talking about
Probably
before.
did.
It was, I've known for a long time that we have an economic and financial problem. What keeps me coming back to crypto, and for those of you who would love to learn even more about this, we haven't mentioned this book in a long time.
The Bitcoin Standard by Sapadianamos.
Read the book. Read the book, and it will explain to you why you should be coming back to crypto day in and day out, week after week. Take some days off, have some fun, enjoy life. Don't become a crypto zombie. But why do I come back week after week? Why do I continue to follow everything? First of all, it's my job. But even if it wasn't my job, like let's say God calls me away from this business, I will continue to follow crypto because it is a solution to a problem that this world has been facing for hundreds, if not a couple thousand years.
Amen to that. That is awesome. Well, the reason that I keep coming back is because I just have always cared so deeply about just helping other people. I've always cared so deeply about uplifting other people because, I for a long time was the guy that needed a lot of help. I was the guy that had nothing. I was the guy that I needed somebody to kind of help pick me up. And crypto is the thing that did that for me. And crypto might be the thing that's doing that for you. And if you're on that path, I encourage you to stay that path because cryptocurrency will help you to achieve financial freedom so long as you continue to invest in your education. You can do so at the link down below. And also make sure to sign up for Lux Algo if you haven't already. Let's go ahead and read some super chats before we wrap out.
Yeah, let's see what we got here. We have one from Brett saying, Jebb, apologies for the bad puns yesterday. Serious question, though.
There's no such thing as a bad pun. I love a good pun.
Yeah, that's true. A serious question, though. Wondering if you could do a refresher on how to use Heikin-Ashi candles in conjunction with MACD sometime. God bless you guys.
Yeah, no, it's actually funny. The way that we use Heikin-Ashi and MACD, which is one of the things that I keep to myself and for the people in CT2A. If you want to see that strategy, check out CT2A. I'll go in more detail over there. But basically the point of Heikin-Ashi MACD is to look for the two indicators work really well at calling a rally. If one of them doesn't call it early, the other one will. It's kind of like what I was talking about earlier with Lux Algo, with the buy-sell signals, the green, red dots, and the trend catcher. If you use a couple of different trending reversal indicators at once, then one of them is going to give you a signal, and then the rest of them can confirm that signal. So the strategy with Heikin-Ashi MACD is that you look for one of them to call the trend, and then you use the other one to confirm the trend, and then that's when you can enter a trade. Something that we teach over in CT2A. If you want to learn more, you can check the link down below. Thank you very much, Brett, for that donation.
Boom. We got another one from JMK or Jump. Saying, Smay, how is the training been going with your boxing match coming up?
Ooh.
Actually, I just want to, before Smay answers, Smay has been killing it. How many days? When was the last day you didn't work out, Smay?
3 weeks ago.
Holy crap.
3 weeks ago. Yeah.
For those who don't know, if you're new, I think easily at least 20 pounds, if not pushing closer to 30, has come off in the last
Smay's lost a lot of weight.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, guys, I've been doing it. So
Smay's killing it, bro.
Yep. Anything else you want to say on that, Smay? Sorry, I answered it for you.
No, I mean, I've definitely been serious about it. But yeah, guys, it's not actually probably going to be a boxing match. I'm just doing it to get healthy and take care of myself. Yeah. But that was kind of the motivation was, I think what motivated me was when we talked about a boxing match and he was like, Tim was so confident that he'd beat me so easily that wouldn't even be like a tough fight, and I was like, you know what?
I'm willing to change it to listen. My sport was football, but I'm willing to change it up to non-violence. Let's just play basketball one-on-one.
Oh yeah, we can do one-on-one.
We'll do a one-on-one basketball.
Yeah, one-on-one basketball game.
There we go.
All right.
Boom,
Anyways,
there you go.
This is a great question from Tom N. We actually were talking about this yesterday, Jebb, so I'm so glad he asked this. Which trading view plan do we need? Pro Plus, or Premium?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a conversation literally our office was having yesterday.
Yes, we were talking about this yesterday. So the different plans on TradingView give you different things. They give you a different number of people that can sign into your account. They give you different premium indicators, and they give you different levels of how many indicators you can use at once. I believe what I have is Pro Plus. I have whichever one of the plans is. But you guys got to realize I set up my paid plan like 3 years ago, so it's been a while since I've looked at them. I believe I have the Pro Plus plan. I have whichever plan allows you to have 10 indicators. I'm probably going to be switching it up to the top one, which is, I think, Premium. I forget the names. Basically, the way you want to make your decision is how many indicators do you need? Because, I mean, there are other things that you're going to need. For example, VPVR is a paid indicator that is built into TradingView. So to get that, you're going to need to have a paid plan on TradingView. So I would encourage you guys to get at least the lowest plan. But if you want to get any of the plans, then you definitely need to look at them and say, hey, what are my needs and which one is the cheapest that I can actually get away with here?
Gotcha. We got one from Mix Crypto saying, thoughts on reducing position in Cardano, currently 29% of my portfolio, and moving it to Ethereum. Not sure 88 infrastructure will be ready to facilitate a big run to keep up with the other major L1 platforms.
You'd be surprised. And the reason is that Cardano is still, to this day, built on hype. There is so much hype in Cardano, and it is a spring waiting for a massive rally. I wouldn't discount Cardano, but if you are having 30% of your portfolio in Cardano, you might be a little bit overexposed to it, but I'm not going to weigh in on that just because I don't know your specific case.
Yeah.
That'd be irresponsible of me, actually.
We have another one from Mix Crypto saying thoughts. Oh, no, sorry. Just read that one. My bad. Jesse Marshall saying right now, best return on investment, AVAX or FTM?
Well, I'm more familiar with AVAX than FTM, so it's hard for me to compare the two. But I can tell you this. I think AVAX has a massive upside potential. Like I said, I haven't looked at FTM Phantom in a while. But
I will say,
personally, I think it's probably Avalanche.
As much as I don't know Phantom well, it's not a shill coin, obviously. Yeah, and I've seen a lot of support recently.
Yeah, it's a legit project. It's been around for years.
So don't just jump into it just because you see everybody else saying, "Oh, it's doing amazing." But it is something like, to me, when I see a lot of people going crazy about a project, and then I find out it's not a shill coin, that's what makes me say, "Okay, let me learn a little bit more about this."
The thing you have to realize on Phantom, guys, is it's already rallied like 1,500% in the last year.
Yeah.
So shoot, not in the last year, in the last like 3 months. So you got to kind of be careful of that. Avalanche has rallied a lot too, but it's not as overextended in my opinion.
Gotcha.
We got any more?
Unless something popped up while I was reading those, I did. Jeffrey Fritz is Team Smay. Let's beat Tim. Jeffrey.
Let's go.
It's okay.
I'm hashtag Team Turtle. Team Turtle.
I have something.
What's up?
The webinar is tomorrow.
That is true. I almost
true.
forgot about that. Guys, we got like a couple of seats left in the webinar, which is happening tomorrow, and you're not going to want to miss that. Make sure, if you haven't already, to sign up for the webinar. There are limited seats available. You can find that with the link in the description box down below. If you guys want to have a teaching on basic chart formations, and then also get to talk to me, Tim, and Smay for a long time, we'll bring you up on stage, answer any of your questions you guys have. We always have a lot of fun there. We've even met Kelly, who's on our staff now, through there. We love meeting you guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. Cannot wait. So make sure to check that out. Links in the description box down below. You got a couple of hours left to sign up for that. Yeah. What's up, Smay?
Oh, I was going to say, last thing I'm going to say, guys, if you guys are also in a similar position as me and you guys are wanting, like you feel like you need motivation to start losing weight, if you guys go follow me on Twitter, I'm going to start posting progress updates. Let's
go.
Guys. So I'm going to be posting my, my workout rings and all that stuff. So go follow my Twitter at Thicky Smay, so you guys can check that out. If you need some motivation, you can go there to check that out.
I love that your profile picture is you holding the HODL trophy, and your banner is is a turtle.
Oh yeah,
awesome.
You're showing off. Yeah,
I'm showing.
See, that's
off
my
Twitter.
Yeah, that's my turtle
Twitter.
actually. That's my turtle.
That's his turtle.
Yeah.
Go follow him, guys. He's holding the HODL trophy right there, which I'm holding it this week, but we'll see if he gets it back because his prediction is 70K by the end of the week. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen.
Sorry, Smay. Anyway, guys, that's all we got for you today. If you enjoyed today's show, hit the like button. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. We're about to hit 200K subs, and we very much appreciate every single last one of you. Make sure to sign up for Lux Algo with the link in the description box down below. They're the sponsor of this show, and they help to continue this show for us. Make sure to sign up. You can use coupon code Jebb, J-E-B-B, for 20% off at checkout. It is the indicator that I use every single day. I don't know what I would do without it. You definitely don't want to be missing out on that. Anyway, guys, that's all I got for you today. Before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.